I'm heading to the computer science department in order to participate in an industry advisory meeting. Why am I constantly involved with computer science? And I think to me, of all the fields that exist right now, tech is one that is essentially built on change.
I didn't understand anything about computer science. I didn't know web pages involved some amount of code. I didn't know anything about anything. And when I first took Python with Ben and just writing lines of code to just print hello world, just basic things like that, I thought that was mind-blowing and I thought it was super cool. I think the girls really get that context. They see what their project is going towards. They get to see the entire process from the business side to the comp sci side, design, implementation, testing, everything. So they see what they're building for it, and they see the reason why. And they also get to pick what they want to do, and that usually revolves around something they're pretty passionate about. There's just a disconnect between the concepts you're learning and how you can apply it. And I think students just kind of get through the courses, get their grades, and then they move on. And if they're doing that, they're likely not tapping into opportunities like Technovation or hackathons or opportunities to just build projects with other students.
I think universities historically have been doing a good job at preparing the students on the foundation side. Not as much with creativity. You learn a bunch of techniques, you apply it on the problems at the end of the chapter, and then you move on, you get your grade. They need a sense of purpose. Why they do what they do. If we don't give them that, at least in our company, what we experience, they don't perform as well as the ones that know that sense of why.
These theory courses could have applications in them. And some of the things that were proposed were to, say, use the stuff that we learn in 331, like the DFAs, to be more applied to like a real problem that the people can look at and see solutions to.
In theory, there's no difference between theory and practice, but in practice there is. Having a good blend of theory and practice, a condensed core to me makes a lot of sense. So that students can go ahead and really explore what they're passionate about.
Some really good perspectives from students, from some professors, and some folks in industry, just about what is really important to have in the computer science curriculum. As kind of a thank you for this, I also got a book. It's called Thank You for Being Late by Thomas Friedman. One of the main messages that I had for the computer science department is that employment these days, students need to think of themselves not as somebody who's just getting a bachelor's degree, but as somebody who is building a personal brand. They need to have a portfolio of things that differentiate them from other students. And so this is an opportunity to do that. These projects are that opportunity. And yeah, having a video, like a YouTube video about your project helps a lot because an employer can go and see it. Should we or should we not have the project course? There's a kind of they call it a capstone course. Should we make that mandatory? My opinion was absolutely yes, because that single project is probably the thing that is most closely aligned with what your interests are. It's the thing that you've moved in the most depth with, and it's the one thing that is going to differentiate your degree from everybody else from an employer's perspective. I find somebody who has the skills that I want, but now I'm trying to determine between you versus somebody else to give the interview. Well, it's that portfolio. You know, let's take a look at the projects that you've done. Let's look at the things that you've created. I'm really honored to be able to participate as part of this panel on where the computer science department is going to go. And I'm glad that they're kind of listening to some of our advice in addition to those of students and of profs as well. I think a lot about education, and I think a lot about how it connects to the world of work. Now, if you're interested in more videos about how technology is impacting both how we teach and how we work in the future, this is a great channel to subscribe to. You might be wondering why I'm at Style Theory Hair. Yeah, so Peggy isn't a huge fan of the way I've been cutting my hair. The hairstylist is also a vlogger as well, and she has like her own channel, and I'm kind of being recorded on her channel. You can see here. kind of interesting.
It held it this way so your frame is more stronger.
Okay.
And then your balance point is higher up because you have a long face this way.
The thing I like about Celeste is that she's an artist. And by artist, I don't mean that she cuts hair well. I mean that she thinks about the cut not just from the perspective of the hair and the style and what's going to happen, but she thinks about it from the personality of the person who's getting the cut. So it's very similar to somebody getting a portrait. So she talked about well, why not be creative in terms of what you're doing with your hair? And usually there are areas that I want to be creative in, that I'm very familiar with, for example in education and technology, but hair is not one of them. Food is not one of those areas as well. But it just made me realize that maybe that's something I should be considering, is how can I be more creative in all aspects of my life, not just the areas that I'm working in. And that's pretty exciting. So I think one of the themes of this channel is going to be unleashing creativity, unleashing our creative potential. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you're interested in unleashing your creative potential, this is the channel to subscribe to.